Hi, it's your girl CPA, and today we're going to talk about the submission of inventory list for retail or manufacturing industry. So to start up, a submission of inventory list was mentioned in the Revenue Regulation number V-1, otherwise known as the Bookkeeping Regulations. Stated there that the inventory at the beginning shall be made and submitted to the Commissioner of Internal Revenue and the subsequent inventories not later than 30 days after the close of the calendar year or accounting period. And so a circular therefore was issued to provide guidance on how annual inventory lists or the said subsequent inventory should be reported to the Bureau, and that is Revenue Memorandum Circular number 57-2015. And then few sections and parts were revised on RMC number 8-2023. So you can refer to these circulars with regards to our submission in the annual inventory list, and also this will be our basis for today's video. So, who are required to file inventory list? According to RMC 57-2015, annual inventory list shall cover companies maintaining inventory of stock in trade. Stock in trade are goods that are intended for sale or ready-to-sell items, usually sa mga industries of wholesaling, distributing, retailing, or merchandising. So, in short, yung mga binibenta ng mga industriyang to, yung mga physical goods. So, hindi kasali naman yung mga goods and supplies na hindi naman binibenta, such as office supplies and packaging materials. So, included in this RMC are those with inventories of raw materials, goods in process, in the manufacturing industry, of course, and syempre may stock in trades din sila. And supplies and other goods, including real estate dealers or developers, service companies. Although service companies or service was mentioned here, they mentioned examples such as construction and building contractors. So maybe they are referring to these large industries with the same nature when we mention the service. So for this topic, we will be discussing the submission of inventory list only for retail or manufacturing industry. First, we need to identify kung kasama ba tayo sa mga magpapasa nitong inventory list. So, malalaman natin yon by looking through our Certificate of Registration under the Business Information Details. If meron kang word na retail or wholesale sa iyong COR, then definitely you are required to submit regardless of the tax type you are applied to. Regardless if may benta ka or wala for the taxable year, you are still required to submit since being in a retail industry, ang nature ng business ay may physical goods talaga and stocks. So those stocks are referred to as the inventory of the business. For purely service business naman, such as professionals, laundry shops, barber shops, salons, virtual assistants, so definitely these examples of line of businesses don't have physical goods to sell. Kasi yung binibenta nila is yung services nila. So they are not required to submit an inventory list. This also includes real estate agents, which is different syempre dun sa real estate developers mentioned earlier, kasi these agents are mere marketing agents of the dealers and developers. So hindi rin sila required to file or submit an inventory list. For RDO confirmation, we have the following examples such as catering services, restaurants, food hubs, and printing services. So, these are referred to as service businesses kasi. So, they fall under service, not retail or wholesale. But also, sometimes these kinds of services keeps raw materials, stocks, and goods also. So to make sure, you can always confirm with your RDO about your submission, and when in doubt, it's better to submit than not to. When to submit an inventory list. For sole proprietors, the deadline is always January 30 of the following year, while for corporations, not later than 30 days following the taxable year. So there is no fixed date for corporations kasi ginagamit nila is fiscal year unless they also use a calendar year. So for calendar year, the coverage that we need to submit is the inventory as of December 31. What we're going to do is to do an inventory count every December 31. And that's our basis for submission. So kung ano yung mga available na stocks na binebenta natin noong December 31, yun ang stocks or items na ilalagay natin sa listahan ng inventory. Hindi kasama again yung mga supplies or goods na hindi naman natin binibenta pero nasa atin. At hindi rin kasama yung lahat ng mga stocks na binili natin during the year at yung mga nabenta na. So in short, yung mga natira na lang talaga. Yun yung ilalagay natin sa listahan. That's our coverage for submission. For the period of submission, we have starting January 2. So, pwede ka nang magpasa nito, magpa-receive sa BIR on January 2 up to January 30. So, syempre, except during holidays. So, definitely kaya January 2 ang start natin. And, of course, except weekends. And take note that the deadline is 30 days after the taxable year. That's why it is January 30 and not January 31. The question is, are you required to submit this coming January 30? If you are registered in 2024, you are required to submit not later than January 30, 2025. If you are registered in 2025, you are required to submit not later than January 30, 2026. So we will submit on our concerned RDO where we can see through the top part of our certificate of registration. Then for those with multiple businesses or branches, we do report as consolidated, therefore submitting it to the RDO of the head office. But you may also confirm with your RDO if you can comply separately for different branches, or you have to make it received by the different RDOs as well. But we have a portion and a note from the annex that we will look into again later, stating to include in the list all goods provided the goods are situated at the address of the head office or branch. So we can put the location of the inventories provided. Inventory list again basically is a list of company stocks at the end of its financial year as of December 31. Including raw materials and work in process for manufacturing industries. There are prescribed formats that we need to use that was provided by the Bureau. This is much easier for us to comply since meron na tayong format na gagamitin. Ang kailangan na lang natin gawin is mag-fill out ng mga necessary details ng ating businesses. Since merong part sa provision that the list that does not conform with the prescribed format shall be deemed not received and shall be grounds for penalties. So I will be providing the link on the description below, or you can download in the BIR website, or you can join our growing community's Tax Literacy page where we provide free materials, tax updates, and future videos for business owners and yearly annual compliance webinars especially for our followers and subscribers, or online seller series specifically for online sellers. You can also message me personally if you have concerns and suggestions, or you can message our page JB Henson Accounting Services for BIR, SEC, DTI, or other assistance with regards to businesses, and our page JB Age Business and Tax Trainings if you want to learn by yourself for your businesses. We provide webinars, materials, and bookkeeping templates that you can use personally. So going back, we have Annex A for manufacturing, merchandising, or retail companies. Annexes B and B1 for real estate companies, and Annex C for construction industries. So these annexes are downloadable at bir.gov.ph/memorandum-circular, and then you can look for RMC number 8-2023. For this one, we will be discussing Annex A for retail or manufacturing industry. So upon downloading, mada-download natin ay isang Excel file which includes all the annexes A, B, and C. Pero ang kailangan lang natin for retail or manufacturing industry is yung Annex A. Note that the submission of inventory list is not just compliance. And the data should be reconciled with the amount declared in the financial statements and annual income tax returns. So we need to make sure na nagtatali yung from books to financial statements to tax returns. So if you want assistance in reconciling your books, financial statements, and inventory list, we also do have an assistance for that matter. So again, this downloaded file is an Excel file and is editable. So pwede na kayong mag-edit mismo doon sa na-download nyong file. So first, we need to edit our business name. And then the next line, the kind of inventories that we are providing in the list could be merchandise inventory for retailers or raw materials, goods in process, or finished goods for manufacturing, or pwedeng lahat yan. Then put the year of the period covered, which is the previous year. Kapag magpe-prepare tayo ng ganito, January na. Kasi kailangan muna nating matapos yung December 31 dahil sa December 31 pa lang tayo magi-inventory count. So, kapag magpe-prepare na tayo, January na. So, ang year na dapat nandito is yung previous year. So, for this example, we are submitting on January 2025, kaya December 31, 2024 ang ating ilalagay dito. For product or inventory code, if you have codes per item, then you can put them, or if none, okay lang. You can simply put N-A. Then for item description, just a short description of your items on hand or stocks remaining. For the address, we have note 1A as a guide. So we need to put the address or location of the item here, whether located in the head office or branch, or facilities such as warehouses, storage places, or even those on stores na hindi naman sa atin pero may mga items tayo sa kanila on consignment. So again, you may include all goods, whether taxpayer has title thereto or not. Meaning, whether tayo ang may-ari or pinalagay lang or mga pinapabenta lang, provided na nasa facilities natin ng mga to, then we need to include them as well. So again, mention here, with or without sales activity, basta hindi pa nako-close ang business, we need to submit an inventory list. So if wala kayong goods on hand, inventory on hand, nagsisimula pa lang kayo, you can simply put no inventory and then still comply. Include also goods out on consignment. Ito nga yung may mga stocks tayo na wala sa facilities natin pero nasa ibang stores at pinapabenta natin yung mga yon, then we also need to include them. Next, we have code. This will identify what kind of goods that we have. Kung sa atin ba ang mga ito or pinapabenta lang, which are goods on consignment held by the taxpayer, put letters CH, or part goods or goods owned by the related parties or mga pinalagay lang, then put letter P. Or usually goods owned by the taxpayer na pagmamay-ari talaga ng taxpayer, which is ito yung pinaka-common, put letter O. Then goods out on consignment held in hands of entity other than taxpayer. Ito yung mga items natin nga na nasa ibang store na pinapabenta lang natin. Then put letters CO. For remarks, we will just indicate the name of the consignor if goods on consignment, name of related party or owner if part goods, name of the entity of if goods out on consignment. So as an example, we will use letter O. Since ang example natin ay online shop and usually most of the items are owned by the taxpayers. Also, sa mga small businesses, kahit hindi online seller, so if sa atin naman lahat yung mga items na meron tayo, you can put letter O. For remarks, we can also put on hand so that it can be easily identified or just simply put N-A. For inventory valuation method, we have note 2 as a guide. So it enumerated kinds of costing methods, which include standard costing, FIFO, weighted average, specific identification, etc. So most of the taxpayers use FIFO or what we call first in, first out valuation. From the word itself, meaning yung mga unang binili natin, yun din yung mga unang binibenta natin. This is common practice especially sa mga businesses na may products na may expiration. So if you use other costing method other than FIFO, then lagay nyo lang dito. Next is unit price. It is the unit cost of the item or ito yung puhunan kung magkano natin nabili yung item. Hindi kung magkano natin to binibenta. For quantity in stocks, kung ilan yung remaining stocks per item, again, as of December 31 only. For unit of measurement, could be kilos, grams, liters of the specific line item we are referring to doon sa unit price na nilagay natin. So if ang examples natin dito ay mga shirts, so we can put piece as the unit. For total weight or volume, we can sum up those in the specific line item kung ilan lahat, or ilang kilos, grams, or liters lahat ng available dun sa specific line item na yon. Lastly, for total cost, kung magkano lahat in total yung specific line item, or we can multiply unit price by quantity in stocks. Then don't forget to put total on the last row of the table, and you can also add rows if madami kayong mga items at hindi kasya dito sa default number of rows ng downloaded file natin. At the bottom part of Annex A, we have a statement of oath that this schedule has been made in good faith, verified by us, and is true and correct. You can put the name and TIN of the taxpayer or an authorized representative. Then you can sign it. Aside from the annex, we also need to submit Annex D or a sworn declaration that is also downloadable in the BIR website or provided on the description link below or those posted in our Facebook groups. Another one is a soft copy of the inventory list in Excel file stored in DVD-R or USB, which should be properly labeled. This is the downloaded file of Annex D, so editable din ito at kailangan lang natin i-edit yung mga necessary details dito. Your province, your city or municipality, your name, your citizenship, your position, your business name, your business address, DVD or USB, depende kung anong ginamit mo sa pag-submit, kinds of inventory, taxable year covered, your name, signature, and TIN. Then leave the lower part blank. Print 3 copies just to make sure, sign it, and have it notarized. Just a quick information that the revised portion and the circular is regarding to the storage device na pwede nating gamitin sa pag-pass ng soft copy sa bureau. So before, we can only submit using DVD-R, and now we can submit using USB flash drive. Note that kapag tayo ay nagpasa, hindi na nila ibabalik yung DVD-R or USB flash drive. So may iwan na po ito sa BIR. So option natin kung alin sa dalawa ang gagamitin natin. For the soft copy, again, we will insert the Excel file or Annex A, either in DVD-R or in a USB flash drive with proper labels. In summary, what we have to bring in BIR, not later than January 30, are 2 copies of signed and accomplished Annex A, 2 copies of notarized Annex D, and DVD or USB flash drive with label. Then have them received by the Bureau. Unfortunately, wala pa po tayo as of today option to submit online. Kaya, kailangan po talaga nating ipasa ito mismo sa RDO office natin. Note that these are minimum requirements that you can prepare, but you can always confirm with your RDO if there are additional requirements such as in terms of number of copies for their internal monitoring purposes. So if you already have the list of your specific RDO, pwede nyo pong i-comment down yung RDO number and specific list na pinapaprovide nila for the reference of our other fellow business owners para makapag-prepare sila before going to BIR. Another revised portion of this circular is the submission of the annexes in hard and soft copies. In the latest version, we are only required now to submit in soft copies of the annexes. But as for me, it's better na rin na magdala tayo ng hard copy nung Annex A na printed since it may serve as a proof of submission na pwede nating i-keep for future purposes. Again, you can contact us on the following pages and groups, and if you have comments and suggestions, then you can leave a comment below. So we also do have bookkeeping tutorials and bookkeeping templates for different kinds of services kung ano yung magiging applicable sa iyo. I hope I've given you the answer that you need. This is your girl CPA here to help small businesses grow. Peace.